Hey guys, what's going on, everybody? It is Wednesday. We are halfway through the work week, unless you work on the weekends and then get wrecked. So tonight we are playing. It's basically another old standard deck that I used to play. It's called Desert Red. And so basically, like the concept behind it being called Desert Red is that you run Sunscorched Desert. Sunscorched Desert taps for a colorless, and when it comes into play, it deals 1 damage to target player or planeswalker. It's a really good land, and you use that in junction with Ramunap Ruins, which taps for a red or a colorless, but you can also pay 4 and tap it, and then sacrifice a desert and deals 2 to each opponent. So it has really good application when you start to flood and like you're just a little short of the finish line. So this is kind of just like a best of list that I put together based off a couple things that some people threw out last night and some things that we talked about. We're running Soulscar Mage. It's just a great one drop, and it's really good with the anything that deals damage is really solid with Soulscar Mage. Pillar of Flame is probably going to be. I'm probably going to run that for the foreseeable future over Shock. It's just like it exiles. It has really good ability, and instead of running, what was the other red one drop we ran last night? I can't remember, but we're running Fanatical Firebrand over it because I think Firebrand has a lot of really good applications with stuff. So Lightning Strike's a great removal spell. Viashino Pyromancer is just a good 2-drop. Robber of the Rich is a really good card. Generates card advantage, and it has haste for 2 mana. Light Up the Stage is most of the time 1 mana draws 2 cards. A 1 of Bone Crusher Giant. There's multiple reasons for that. One, I don't have a wild card to make a 4th Rampaging Ferocidon. I don't feel like spending money tonight to do that. So we're gonna play a 1 of Bone Crusher Giant. Also, I feel like having an extra removal spell in the main deck is never a bad thing. Plus, Bone Crusher Giant's a great body. Rekindling Phoenix is a great recursive threat that's tough to beat, and Chandra Torture Defiance is just probably the greatest red planeswalker of all time. So it's really just really good red cards, and we're playing 22 lands. And the sideboard is very similar to the sideboard we ran last night when we played Mono Red Frenzy. We cut a Goblin Chainwhirler for a 3rd Rolling Vortex because I think Rolling Vortex will be very good in this kind of deck. So I'm pretty interested to play this and just kind of jump into the games here. Oh, definitely renaming this. I didn't change the name. I just took the Mono Red Frenzy deck and I just changed it to Desert Red. Basically, is all that happened. So I'm excited to play this deck and see what it plays like. I worry against Tainted Pact that it'll be a little too slow. There are just certain things it's just a little too slow against in the format, and that's unfortunate, but it's just kind of how it is. And after we play Desert Red tonight, we're gonna finish the night off with some Boros Cycling, which is a deck that I love. I can't get enough of that deck. This seems pretty solid against a Lurrus deck. We have removal, we have creatures, we have everything we want. Hopefully we draw some lands. That's really the only thing we're missing. Watery Grave gonna Thoughtseize me? Oh, Inquisition of Kozilek. Okay. I'm interested to see if they take the Pyromancer. Take the Light Up the Stage. Okay. That was our key to drawing more lands here, so hopefully we draw some lands. Oh, it's rogues. We're just gonna Pillar of Flame this, and then we're gonna play our Soulscar Mage, and then we're just gonna attack in for 2. We didn't draw a land, unfortunately. But the cards that our opponents milled off of the Thieves Guild Enforcer wasn't bad. We hit 2 cards that one of them we couldn't even cast, and we'd really like to just try and find lands, so. We're just gonna run this out and say go. A lot of the rogues deck plays at instant speed, so we're just gonna keep holding on to our stuff here and just kind of see what happens. They can use Drown in the Lock to counter Chandra if they need to. Okay. I mean, this feels like a drown in the lock here, but we're going to run out our Rampaging Ferocidon, see what happens. They might counter this. They might they might just use a removal spell or flash in a creature here. Interesting that they let it resolve before they did that. I'm curious about that. Rogue seems like just a really fair blue-black deck in Historic, honestly. I think I have most of the cards for this deck. Can't believe they printed so many of these cards at rare in this set, in the weird set, and it just kind of sucks, honestly. So what? Mills 2 cards. Nope. There's 3 lands we hit right there, which is unfortunate. So we go to 16. Okay. And drawing Light Up the Stage was a really good draw step. They might Fatal Push our Rampaging Ferocidon here. Yep. That's what I was afraid of. You gotta take the good with the bad there, though. And they know about the Chandras in our hand, so I mean, it's not like we're really like hiding this great information or anything. That's a 3rd Fatal Push they've drawn. Yeah, they definitely have Drown in the lock here. And if not, I would be very surprised. Memory Lapse, okay. I mean, Memory Lapse is fine because it's not a hard counter. We're just getting to draw back into it, so... Well, I guess we're not because of Soaring Thought Thief. Soaring Thought Thief, I didn't think about that. Gonna put our opponent to 6, and then they're at least forced to decide whether they want to have a blocker or not here with the Soaring Thought Thief. They might think it's worth it to take 2, and or I guess it depends on what they have. They're at 6, and we have 4 points on the field. Now we are at 10, so I mean it's not exactly like those are just free points when we need them. We're just going to go for it here. I mean, it's just lethal if they don't have a counterspell, so... If it resolves, they're just dead on board. And if not, they're forced to kill us next turn. I imagine they're probably wanting to cast Into the Story here, so... I don't think they realize they're just dead. I mean, it's possible our opponent didn't have another play, but I don't feel like they did. They should have done that knowing that they might have just been dead there. So that was kind of weird. Lava Coil, a Braid. Pyromancer doesn't seem great. Got a couple Fanatical Firebrands. Try it that way. That still leaves us with like quite a bit of... It still leaves us with some recursive threats, and it leaves us with some top end, so... So I look at this hand and I really like this hand, but we don't have any interaction. I mean, maybe we keep it just off the back that our hand is really good. I don't know. Let's try this and see what happens. This is one of those hands we'll try for science. Drawing a removal spell is a really good draw step. Having a braid is really solid right there. Man, this blue-black rogue deck gets a lot of upgrades in this format. You get to play Memory Lapse and Brainstorm. It's really good. Okay. Deals combat damage to a player. That player mills a card, or you can... I didn't get to read it. Or you can sacrifice Merfolk Wind Robber, draw a card, only if an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard. Okay. Alright. We're just going to hold up interaction here and say go. We're going to say go here. Let's run out Rekindling Phoenix. I was like, I'm curious to see how they react to me playing Rekindling Phoenix, but Memory Lapse is a pretty good one. Yep, put our Rekindling Phoenix into the yard. They feel like they can't beat that. And, I mean, quite frankly, I can't blame them, so. Them having back-to-back Memory Lapses like that is pretty good. I mean, they're getting to mill a lot of our value cards here, which is a little unfortunate, but I mean... So let's start with the braid here. Did you go down? What happened? Oh, I see. Been there one too many times. Huh? Are you? That's exciting. So our opponent puts Lyris into their hand. Sunscorched Desert's a really good draw because it deals 1 to our opponent and turns our Light Up the Stage on for basically, I mean, it just turns on our Light Up the Stage and we get to make a land drop. It's really good. So we're going to cast that because that's a phenomenal draw step. Now they might have a counter spell here. Our last card's Drown in the Log. So our opponent's had 4 counter spells so far and a removal spell, which has been pretty solid, honestly. Like, I don't think our opponent can complain about their draws at all. Okay. Mountain Pillar of Flame is fine. We have 6 lands, so we can play all of our cards. We're going to start by Lava Coiling the Lyris. We're going to play Robber of the Rich. Lightning Strike the Thought Thief, whatever it's called. And we're going to crash in for 2 here, and we actually get to exile a card here. We hit a land, okay. I mean, they get to block and sacrifice to draw a card, which is pretty good. All things considered. We're both just, like, I would say we're playing off the top of the deck, but they have 3 cards in their hand, so. Fatal Push the Robber's pretty good. Run it out, see if they have a counterspell. They had a negate. Okay. I mean, they have plenty of cards to recast that and draw more cards if they want to. They can either draw more cards or they can gain some life if that's what they need to do. So I think them being at 18, I think them drawing a card was really smart right there. Alright, it's not a great draw step, but it's something. I mean, it's better than drawing a land, so. Let's see. We have a Rekindling Phoenix, 2 Rekindling Phoenixes, and a Chandra. So we have 2 Phoenixes and 2 Chandras left, basically. Or 1 Chandra, I apologize. So we have a Chandra and 2 Rekindling Phoenixes left as top end, basically. Well, that's actually, if I was going to draw a land, that's the best one I could find, so. They're going to start drawing some cards, okay. When you have Cling to Dust and you're at a pretty high life total, so it makes sense. They're considering main phasing Cling to Dust, which means their hand must not be very good. I mean, they're like 1 end of the story away from winning this game, so. Definitely should have Lightning Striked first. Just to see what they did. Fanatical Firebrand's not a terrible draw because we can block and shoot them. And we're not going to attack. It's a lot of lands for our opponent. We have 26 cards left in our library, which isn't a ton. So we take nothing this turn. I mean, this is what the deserts are for. Now, granted, I know we have a long way to go because they still have Cling to Dust in their yard, which is pretty bad for us. We can Pillar of Flame this. Drown in the Lock's probably the game because they can Cling to Dust here and draw a card. Guess they could draw a card that way too, but I don't really understand why they're taking life when they don't have to. It's the same effect. I don't know. That's weird. Like maybe they're under the impression that they have to save all of their cards or something. Alright, that's gonna do it. We're just gonna concede here. We played a really close game. Rolling Vortex would have been really good that game. It's a lot of 2-drops, but we are playing 22 lands, so I think we can, for the most part, get away with playing a lot of 2-drops. The odds of us hitting 4 lands is pretty consistent. This hand's really good. We'll keep this. I don't think we've had a 1-drop any of these games, but you know, you win some, you lose some kind of thing. Kind of flash in his 1-drop here. Yep. Pillar of Flame Rekindling Phoenix. Okay. Put our opponent to 18. Play Light Up the Stage. That combo was never in Standard together, but it is pretty sweet. Having Desert into Light Up the Stage. Kill that. That way they don't get any triggers. I guess we'll say go here. Not having the Pillar of Flame not dealing 3 is kind of tough. We wanted that to be a Lightning Strike. Like a Lightning Strike and a Braid. I would have been okay with getting a Lava Coil. Just something to go upstairs at them with. Cast our Rekindling Phoenix and see what happens here. It's a good chance to have a counter spell. Losing our Rekindling Phoenix is fine here. I mean, it sucks, but it is what it is. We'd like to draw like a removal spell here. Hopefully they don't have another counter spell. Like, that would be unfortunate if they did.
You wanna go, tough guy?
We have to kill the Soaring Thought Thief. There's not much we can do about it. And they might get to kill our Chandra here. But we still have to go for it.
Now you're playing with fire.
So they're going to mill our Braid in something else, and we're kind of in a tough spot here. Us getting to resolve our Chandra was pretty big, but... we're going to need to hit something pretty good here.
Guess you don't need me anymore.
I think that probably lost us the game, honestly. Like, we've... 7, 8, 9 lands. They've just milled so many of our good spells that we needed to hit this game. Rampaging Ferocidon would have been good at any point, too. Probably just going to play the Soaring Thought Thief, if I had to guess. No, you're not? Okay, interesting. How about my Ferocidon that I was talking about I wanted? Yep, we go to 7. Sack a Desert puts you to 9. And that just puts us dead on our turn. Problem is we milled all gas off of our stuff and we never hit anything. All right, well, that's unfortunate. We played a really close series, but our opponent, both games 2 and 3, had like the perfect mix of counter and removal spells. Like that game, our opponent had like game 2, they had 3 counter spells and a fatal push, or I'm sorry, 4 counter spells and a fatal push. And then the third game, they had 2 counter spells and a fatal push. So I mean, it was just really well timed for our opponent to draw that many counters and then draw into pressure late in the game. Our opponent's playing an aggro deck. This hand seems very questionable, but I think it's good enough to keep. If we draw a mountain, we're in good shape. We are going to attack, and then we're going to play Viashino Pyromancer, depending on what they do here. Put our opponent to 18. Auto pay. And then if we do draw a land, we have Rampaging Ferocidon. Well, we're not going to draw a land because of Memory Lapse, so...
I know 88 ways to defeat. Put thoughtfulness before action.
Is that Wrath of God? Well, we're going to attack our opponent, and then we're going to Pyromancer the Narset.
Sloppy technique.
Our opponent shocking there helped us out. They obviously didn't. I mean, they did it. You know, they felt like they were in an okay spot to do it. I've not played against Jeskai Control yet. I think I played against it a couple weeks ago, but I haven't played against it this week yet, so I'm curious to see if it's changed at all. We know that they have a Wrath of God in their hand. That or maybe they did some weird stuff and put it back on top. I don't know. Play for Alcedon and say go. Now, we are walking into the Wrath of God here, which is fine, because if we hit a land, we can go Chandra plus into Robber of the Rich, which is pretty solid. So, it's a pretty good turn against Jeskai Control for sure. I'm okay with just playing Rekindling Phoenix after combat here. Okay, that's weird. Curious to know what our opponent's up to here. Rekindling Phoenix on top of our library. Okay. Memory Lapse are rare. Of course it is. Man, all these cards are rares in this set, and I hate it. Most annoying part about that is I know they did that trash on purpose. This might be Torrential Gearhulk into the deal damage to stuff thing. Yep, our opponent goes to 9 here. And then they get to deal 4 damage, I think. Yep. And they get to draw 2 cards. I mean, that's pretty solid. It's a pretty good card. And they get to tap 2 permanents. Wow, okay. Well, if I'd known they got to tap 2 permanents, I definitely would have played my Rekindling Phoenix. I would have played Chandra plus into Robber, honestly. I mean, they get to crack in for 9. It's over half of my life total. What, baby? No. Teferi's probably going to wrap the game up here.
No time for a break.
Yep, we go to 7. And then pretty much no matter what we draw here, I think we're just dead. Well, next time I know that. Next time I know they get to tap permanents. Well, that's unfortunate. You want to get game one against these decks, so bring in Roiling Vortex and a Bone Crusher Giant. Cut the Pillar of Flames. They're our worst card in the matchup by a long shot. I like having Ferocidon here because it allows us to prevent life gain if it ever comes up. Stops Lightning Helix. I mean, I don't know what else they're playing, but it might, like if they're playing Timely Reinforcements, it shuts that down, so Ferocidon's actually insane against Timely Reinforcements, so. Lord. Yep, we'll keep this as a good hand. We have Firebrand and a Pyromancer end a lot of the stage, so it feels like a pretty solid start. We haven't really had any one drops to play tonight, like nothing that's really like interesting or anything that really allows us to start off the game like super aggressively. Opponent's down to 16. Well, I was gonna say I'm trying to guarantee that we hit a land, but this feels like an okay turn. Putting quite a bit of pressure on our opponent here. Well, Deafening Clarion is an absolute blowout. I guess we can plus for mana and play Firebrand here.
Today's my lucky day.
Actually, I know it's kind of greedy, but this allows us to play light up the stage this way and get some more cards out of it, which I think is really solid. So we lose our Ferocidon, but we hit into another Phoenix. So we're going into their fourth turn with Chandra on the field and Phoenix Firebrand rolled up. So this feels like a pretty decent start. Okay.
My prowess is unmatched. Keep an open mind.
And playing Narset's a pretty good thing for us, I feel like. So saw it coming. Okay.
Oh, this is gonna hurt.
Run out our Phoenix, and then our last card in our hand is also Rekindling Phoenix, which is pretty solid backup, so. So no Teferi.
Meditate and prepare.
Interesting that they didn't mine us before they looked for Teferi. Reload that thing again. That was crazy. My gosh. That's wild how fast that thing reloads. Do you have speed? Oh my god. You don't even need speed. Wow, that's insane. Ether Gust my Chandra. I'm gonna take that action. Okay. It's not a bad turn. Like, it's not like our opponent did nothing. Like, they've taken our Chandra and our bird off the table, so I mean that's pretty solid. Like, it's a pretty good turn for them, all things considered. They Ether Gusted and played Lightning Helix, so I was like, if they don't have a sweeper here, I am gonna get my stuff back, but bring back the Phoenix. Play Chandra. Plus for mana. Put them 9. We get to attack them for 4 to 5. Our opponent could have like Torrential Gearhulk into, I guess, Ether Gust is their best card here. Lightning Helix to token. Go to 8. No. Okay. Okay. I was like, I kind of figured they had a play, but I mean, I guess they had to Wrath of God or they're just dead on board. I mean, that felt pretty good, that game. We didn't draw Rolling Vortex, but it feels like it's set up pretty well. So, we'll run it back. I don't see a reason to change anything. What happened? I'm sorry. What? How close are you? Like, how close is super close? Wow. So you're pretty close, huh? Sorry, baby. Taryn. You just gonna lead on Lightning Helix right here? Okay. I mean, that's probably not a terrible decision, honestly. The combo of Sunscorched Desert and Light Up the Stage in the same deck is honestly really cool. Like, I think that's something I need to explore more in Pioneer, if I'm being honest. And that's probably a terrible decision, and I shouldn't be doing that. But I really like it. Or Telecard. So, we get to attack for 2. We get to play Light Up the Stage. And we get to play Rolling Vortex here. Like, this is... We're setting up pretty well for a long game here. This feels pretty solid. All right, so what? No, but I can be.
Reckless and ill-refined.
So we get to attack Narset down, and then we get to. We're gonna run out our lot up the stage here while our opponent can't do anything. We're just gonna play our mountain and hold up for Rolling Vortex, especially considering we know they have timely reinforcements in their hand. So. And they will get the bodies, which is pretty good, but there's not much we can do about the 1/1s. Because if they, 3 mana make 3 blockers is probably pretty okay with them, honestly. So that means that saw it coming. That's what it has to be. So I guess we're going to lead by attacking for 4 here. I don't really like just sending our Pyromancers into the 1/1s, but I mean, we have to start doing something here. Yep, we're just going to let this happen. We're going to go Lightning Strike you. We're going to see if they bite here. Like, I'm interested to see if they do. And honestly, I'm just going to make sure that we hold up Bone Crusher Giant here. Or make sure that we hold up Rolling Vortex here. Because we're in a position where it feels like it's kind of tough for us to lose. So we're going to stomp them here. We're just going to get aggressive. Put you to 4. Play for Osidon. Ah, that was backwards. I messed up that sequencing. Sometimes when I get in a hurry trying to do some stuff like this, I just do that kind of weird stuff. So our opponent goes to 2 here off of the Vortex. And if they cast any non-creature spell, they make a token which makes them take a damage. Even if they cast a removal spell here, they make a token beforehand. So this feels like we've actually locked our opponent out of the game here. This is as close as you can get to Eidolon locking somebody in Historic, I feel like, but it feels like this is what we've done here. Gideon of the Trials is interesting. Are you gonna make an emblem here?
You should quit now.
Very interesting. Yep, go to my turn. Let's see what they do here. I feel like if they had, I guess they had saw it coming the whole time, but I don't understand why they wouldn't have played it on our rock, like, they wouldn't have played it on that.
Next time, I'll be ready.
So I'm just gonna say go here. I'm not gonna attack. I'm not doing anything. I'm just gonna let Vortex kill them, because if not, we can fire off Fanatical Firebrand in response to whatever they do. Okay, yeah, alright. Cool. Well, we got away with that one, and by got away with, I mean we actually played like a pretty intelligent game and worked our opponent into a spot where they had nowhere to go. So, I mean, it actually feels pretty good to win that game, I won't lie. Because it didn't really feel like we were going to get away with it. But, yeah, that was pretty sweet. Well, I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. I'll be back in just a second, guys. Alright. Got some more water, went to the bathroom. We're 1-1. We lost to... That could we lose to? We lost to Blue-Black Rogues. And then we beat Jeskai Control, so I'm interested to see how we do with this tonight. Our match against Rogues took a minute. I've been streaming for an hour already. These aggressive decks are supposed to go fast. This hand's good. We'll try this. Playing Kahira, the Orphan Guard. Leading on Fanatical Firebrand sends one message. I'm here to kill you. So. I wonder if our opponent's playing Niv. They could be playing a weird version of Jeskai Control. That is very possible. Looking more and more like that. Did you get it? That's awesome for your crossbow and the knife. That's really cool. Okay, interesting. Discard Grafdigger's Cage and Brainstorm? That's really interesting. Wonder why Grafdigger's Cage? Like in the main. Play Mountain for Osidon, Sego. Like, I can understand why they discarded the extra Brainstorm. Like, they had, like, why they discarded Brainstorm. They had an extra one, but I'm still trying to figure out why they're running main deck Grafdigger's Cage. Is Phoenix and, is it Phoenix and what's, the Rakdos, like, Arcanist deck? Are they that bad? Is it that bad of a matchup for whatever our opponent's playing? Another Narset, okay. We're going to hit our opponent for 4 here. Well, we're going to try to. They don't have Lightning Helix, which is interesting. Let's run out the bird and see what they do. Okay. And then we're going to Pillar of Flame the Narset here because we don't want them to get an extra activation. Like, if they're going to cast it, like, if they're going to, like, you know, just, like, play their other Narset, let's not let them get a free card off of it. That's the third Brainstorm he's cast. Or, I'm sorry, the second Brainstorm. Expressive iteration, okay. Put one into your hand, one on the bottom, and then you exile one. You can play it this turn. Okay. And our opponent concedes. Okay, I can only assume that they're playing some like weird Jeskai control. So we're going to do the same thing we did last game. We're going to bring in a Bone Crusher Giant, 3 Rolling Vortex, and we're going to cut our Pillar of Flames because it's the worst spell. And we're just going to run it back. Everything else, like, either grinds or has a lot of value against the things that they're going to be doing, or is just better than shock. So exfil successfully. Oh boy. Sand seems really good. We'll keep this. It's a little more land than I'd like to have, but as far as things go, I don't really feel like we get to complain about this kind of hand, so. Well, drawing an extra land wasn't exactly what I had in mind, but. Okay. Casting Expressive Iteration on turn 2 doesn't seem great. Run out Rolling Vortex Sigo. Lightning Helix us now. Okay. I mean, it makes sense. They're taking away our ability to play around, to use Rolling Vortex to play around their life gain, so it's pretty smart. So that works out because we get to use our lightning strike effectively. I mean, not, going upstairs with it is effective, but continuing to put on, like, keeping the pressure that's already on the field applied is really good in these kind of matchups. They're putting their companion into their hand, which is a phenomenal thing for us. So we're gonna play the Phoenix, and we're gonna hold the Chandra because if they go for the companion, which they can't right now, I guess, but if they do go for that or some other blocker, we can minus. Or plus following up with Chandra is really good. Or our opponent's just gonna concede. All right, I guess that works too. Let's make that 2-1. All right. Had a pretty good turnout with the Desert Red deck so far. Green or blue, blue or green, and black or green. So green is the color of the day, apparently. I don't really go for the daily challenges that often just because I don't really care about them. I don't know. We might see if I can put something together that's green in some way. I don't know what. If you guys have suggestions for a green deck I could play to get these challenges, please let me know. This hand's really good. We'll keep this. I'm going to lead on the Firebrand just because I know it's a guaranteed point. Good job. Hey, thanks, man. How you doing today, buddy? Our opponent mulligans. Lead on Firebrand for the point. Since they mulliganed, I'm definitely going to get this off the field now. We have pretty good follow-up with Soulscar Mage and Light Up the Stage, so... Oh, that's interesting. I was like, he's probably gonna block the Firebrand here. At least I imagine he is. We're gonna run out our Soulscar Mage and play the Pillar of Flame on the Gilded Goose there. Get it off the field. I do them every day, lol. Just build a Historic Gruul deck for dailies. That's not a bad idea. I don't think I actually own any of the Gruul cards, or I could just do that. Get this thing out of the way. Feels like some kind of weird Abzan deck. I don't really know what our opponent's playing. I don't really know what Gruul cards I have. I don't even think I have the lands, honestly. I have to see what there is, though, what I can put together for it. Run out the Phoenix here. Plus doing this, so playing the Phoenix this turn and attacking the way we did instead of playing the Lightning Strike tells our opponent that we don't have a removal spell, so it actually ends up playing pretty well for us. Blood Artist, okay. Is this like Abzan Aristocrats or something? This is a very interesting Priest of the Forgotten Gods. Alright. We're going to hold on to the Firebrand because there's no reason to do that during our turn. They do get to gain a life this way. I'm interested to see how they block here. Very interesting. Calling me on basically not having anything. And our opponent's last card is to be pretty good. Well, blocker that cantrips isn't bad by any means, so... They can go to 9 here, just off the clue. They can actually go to 12 if they want to. So we're going to play this, and then we're going to attack with everything but the Fanatical Firebrand. Okay. So we continue to keep our board, and they're at 5 now. Next turn they can go to 8 if they want to. Yeah, this just feels like Abzan, like sacrifice aristocrat-y kind of thing. Thank you, Nightbot. Nightbot's always looking out for me in the chat when I get random spammers like that. Interesting. Ooh, is this Bolus a Citadel? Collected Company. Bolus a Citadel. It's gotta be Bolus a Citadel. Maybe our opponent just doesn't know what they want to do. Agadeem's Awakening. That's interesting. We're just going to send in with the clowns here. And we get a goose. Let's go. So basically they net stay the same and we go to 16 here. I mean, leaving that on the field is actually pretty smart. Oh, it's any creature? Wow, that's pretty good. We're going to gain some life. We're going to go to 18 here. That's pretty good. Collected Company in response seems pretty smart. And then we just get to crash in for 4 in the air, put our opponent to 5. Oh, I didn't realize they could do both. Alright, so they go to 8. Oh, they're just going to gain a whole bunch of life here. Interesting. Okay. Scry's one at the bottom. Crash in for 4. And Sego will activate the goose. Or no, it costs green to activate the goose. Oh, that's sad. Another Blood Artist. It's okay. They go to 9 here. Again, we're just going to attack for 4. I guess we could have light up the stage before. There's also just, we could just hit 5 points here. So, ugh, that's pretty rough. Alright, put them to 4. That means Rekindling Phoenix is lethal if they don't have anything, so. Hey, we win game 1. Alright, cool. So, we want Stomp, we want Magma Spray, we want a Braid, we want Lava Coil. We basically want our entire deck. Jesus Christ. Okay. Pyromancer's bad. Robber's bad. I mean, bad is relative here, but Firebrand helps pick off some stuff. I think we're gonna cut Soulscar Mage here, which I know sounds crazy, but we're not playing Chainwhirler to help get stuff off their board, like sweep the board with Soulscar Mage. So I think we're just gonna bring in all like 11 of our removal spells and just try to play mono red control. I mean, the Raminep Ruins might hurt us here in the long run, but we have multiple points of interaction. card draw and a top end finisher, so this hand's really good. We'll just hope we draw into a mountain here to make our life a little bit less painful. We are going to Pillar of Flame that. There might be some logic to, instead of just killing the goose there, taking whenever Cruel Celebrant or another creature of Planeswalker you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. We are just going to stomp this. We're going to go to 18. It's a little painful what we're doing here, but Cruel Celebrant number 2. Run out the Bone Crusher Giant, say go. Like that's what makes Bone Crusher Giant so great in these matchups, is that not only is it a great removal spell, it also doubles as just a really good body. So, well, hitting another land there was insanely clutch, because now we get to minus on the Woe Strider.
Hey, over here. Oh, that's nasty.
So I'm actually not going to attack so that I can protect my Chandra here. It forces them to have a removal spell in some way to deal with my Chandra. Man, we kill something, they gain 3, we lose 3. Guess we'll plus the Exile and see what we hit. Mountain's not great, but that does turn on Light Up the Stage for us. Ugh, I have to take another life to play this. I think we're going to crash in now. I don't think we really care about keeping our Chandra alive anymore. I think we're more in the business of just cracking in. Now, granted, it is 3 up and 3 down. It is basically Lightning Helix every time they lose a creature, so that's a little tough, but... Do they have enough stuff to... No, not even close. Okay. So that's pretty good.
Oh, today's my lucky day.
Magma Spray this guy. We don't take anything because of Magma Spray's text. We're going to crash in with everybody here. See what they do, see how they block, if they're even interested in blocking at all. I mean, we are putting on, like, 8 points every turn. We probably should have played our Light Up the Stage there, honestly. We're just going to go ahead and do this. No, we're not. We're going to wait. We can do something to basically we can respond to basically anything they do. And if not, and if they attack with anything, we get to block and then sack. Well, just... We can't play land off of it, so there's no point. They cast something in response. Yeah. I don't know if we're going to be able to sneak out with this one.
Time to die.
So we're going to swing in with the Phoenix. Because they go to 14. We get to cast Light Up the Stage. Yep, that's fine. So we get to play this. Plus for mana.
I know this is gonna hurt.
Play that. Lava Coil this. And now all of a sudden we're in a pretty good spot, I feel like. I feel like this is a pretty good position. I mean, we're at 7, so it's not like we've just wrapped up the game and won or anything, but we have a pretty good board state with a lot of the stage in our hand. Okay. I mean, if they do this, I'm just going to sack the Fanatical Firebrand here. That was a heck of a draw step. So let's plus. Let's start with a plus, see what we hit.
Yup, you're going down.
Deals damage, play light up the stage. Four, 8. Sacrifice this. 4, 8, 11, 12. So there's no way to just get in for enough here. It's a little disappointing, but we still get to get in for a bunch here. We're getting in for 7. I guess technically the correct play was to attack with everything. And then if they don't block, use a lightning strike. Yeah, they gave us an out to win the game. All right, we won anyway, but I think it was more correct to make the play that I just said, where we kill priest. So actually, killing the priest is like I agree, priest is really important, but I wasn't worried about killing the priest in that spot because from here, our opponent has cards in his hand. He can't replay his Woe Strider, and he has no creatures on the field. So if we get Ferocidon down, we're actually making it to where he's going to have to take damage to be able to activate his priest, and we weren't super worried about it. So, but yeah, like 9 times out of 10, I agree with you. Killing priest is very important. We cast a green spell. Interesting. Oh yeah, that's right. We cast the goose. Well, we have enough for a pack, so we might as well open one. I don't see a reason not to. Don't plan on drafting, so don't plan on, I don't even know if you can spend coins to draft, honestly. Oh, this is that Planeswalker, isn't it? I don't even know what it does, but cool. 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 Alright. So that was our last match with Desert Red here. 3-1's not bad. I mean, I had a pretty good feeling. We were lucky enough not to play against Tainted Pack tonight. I could have missed something. They might have banned it today. I don't really know. I wasn't paying attention, but deck feels really cool. It felt really solid. Good top end lands. Sunscorched Desert and Light Up the Stage was a way better combo than I thought it was going to be, if I'm being honest. So I was really impressed by that. We're gonna take a small break here, probably like 5 minutes or so. I'm gonna use the bathroom, grab a snack, get some more water. When we come back, we're going to be playing either I'm gonna be honest. I'm not really sure what I'm playing when I come back. I think I'm thinking about playing cycling. I might just play burn again though. It's hard to tell. It's so it's either play I can play burn the red white cycling deck, or I can play a very outdated Is It Phoenix list because I don't have enough. I don't have enough rares to put brainstorm and everything in the deck. But I don't even. I think faithless lootings are rare too. So yeah, I don't really have enough to make that. So we'll probably end up on cycling or burn. If you guys have a preference, let me know in the chat and we'll play one of those. But I appreciate you guys hanging out tonight, and I'll be back in a couple minutes.